Care about Black lives, please listen up. Dustin Higgs will be executed for a crime he did not commit on January 15th, which is also Martin Luther King Jr.'s birthday. He is accused of killing 3 girls, but he was found not guilty. All of the witnesses, including the man who actually killed these girls, they have all come forward to say that Dustin is not guilty. The man who actually killed these girls is named Willis Hayes. Dustin is still in jail because they are saying that Dustin bullied Willis Hayes into killing these 3 girls. Willis has come forward to say that this is not true. To all of the influencers and performative activists who said they just weren't on Twitter that day, this is yet another chance for you to try and help. If you say Black Lives Matter, you should be talking about important issues on your page, rather than ignoring them and then saying something after it is too late.
How's the most beautiful person in the world doing today? I don't know, how are you feeling?
Girl don't want me cause I'm my dirty laundry, let's go. My girl don't want me cause I'm my dirty laundry.
Everyone's so soft, everyone's so sensitive. Do I offend you? You're hanging on my sentences. You could keep your costume and you could keep your mask. I'ma take a bow so you can kiss my ass. I never signed up for your drama, up for your drama, up for your drama club. I never signed up for your drama, up for your drama club. They try to feed you lines that you have to memorize. You always hide behind your Wizard of Oz disguise. Do you even have a brain? You're sticking to a page. You're faking all your pain, yeah, you're bleeding on a stage. I never signed up for your drama, up for your drama, up for your drama club. I never signed up for your drama, up for your drama club. She know how to party, but nothing like me and you. Got that perfect body, but she ain't got the moves. We got something better, got that real groove, babe.
If you haven't been feeling worthy lately, I wasn't either, so I took some time to rest, to honor my body's needs and my mind's needs, and I'm truly feeling so much better now. So you deserve to rest. You deserve to recover. Give yourself time because you're worthy of it, and when you're ready, let your light shine again. Energy is a gift to be given to those that deserve it, not a requirement of every person you interact with. And setting boundaries to protect your energy is selfless, not selfish. Because how can you help the people you love if you're busy entertaining the people who drain you?
On me, left and right. Black Knight put him out like a light ribbon, cool-titted like a thief in the night. Gang on, you won't put up a fight. Or a dip, fuck on your bitch, I might. Colors on me, pretty sight. It's like, what'd you say about me might ruin your life? Ribbon, I just might make her my wife. Psych.
Brendan Bernard was murdered by the government on December 10, 2020 for a crime he did not commit. He was 18 years old, did not kill the victims, and 5 of the 9 surviving jurors say they regret their verdict. Brendan then spent 2 decades in prison with no write-ups helping at-risk youth. He maintained a close relationship with his 2 daughters, and his main focus was always the well-being of his family. When reflecting on his past, he said this.
I would definitely have stepped up and changed a whole bunch of different scenarios. Just speaking up.
He was executed by the federal government under the Trump administration, but let's not forget, Biden worked tirelessly for the federal government to be able to execute people. On multiple occasions, Biden joked,
"We do everything but hang people for jaywalking."
Based on his website, his stance has now changed. So we need to hold him accountable to pass legislation on a federal level when he gets into office. But right now, we need to focus our energy in making sure that Dustin Higgs does not get killed for a crime he did not commit. And don't forget, a system can never fail those it was never built to protect. Brendan Bernard should still be alive, and we need to continue to fight to abolish the system that killed him.
You cannot tell someone's sexual orientation or gender identity just by looking at them. It's unfair for us to expect everybody to wear their sexual orientation right there on their forehead. Not everybody wants to out themselves all the time, and it's up to each individual person to decide when they feel safe to do so, and that might be never. So just make sure that you're not outing someone or making assumptions about someone's sexual orientation or gender identity. That's their business.
My name is Zoe and I use she, they pronouns. Wait, they? That's grammatically incorrect. They means multiple people and you're just one person. Actually, I was an English major, so I can tell you that using they, them pronouns to refer to one person is completely correct. The first use of it dates all the way back to the 1300s, and Merriam-Webster officially added it to its dictionary in 2019 and made it its word of the year. So now you have no excuse to not use they, them pronouns.
Y'all need some clarification on what a ride or die is. A ride or die means that you stay with your partner whether they have 10 bucks or 10 million bucks. That does not mean that you stay with them if they are abusive to you or are not respecting your boundaries. Ride or die means that you stay with them through hardship, not staying with them as they are actively causing you hardship. Loyalty and respect are not blind. People still need to earn it, especially the people that you love.
Welcome to Queer History 101 Part 14. The term molly houses refers to the 18th century England's gay bars and clubs that were secret safe spaces for LGBTQ+ people, with new anti-gay laws being introduced and punishments becoming increasingly worse. Living in London was a very dangerous place for the LGBTQ+ community, and whilst many molly houses were often seen by journalists in a bad light, those who frequented them found safety and solace in being free to be themselves in a like-minded community.
Welcome to Queer History 101 Part 16. The pansy craze refers to the beginning of the worldwide obsession with LGBTQ+ drag performance shows, which first started in America's roaring 20s. From 1920 to 1933, people in the LGBTQ+ community were performing in drag in some of today's most world-renowned spaces, like Greenwich Village and Times Square, which erupted into iconic parties. These drew the dominant American society in, despite LGBTQ+ rights being hardly acknowledged at the time.
This challenge could make or break someone's Christmas. Did you know Santa was LGBT+? Well, maybe not Santa, but one of his helpers, India Morphin Pose, they're non-binary and they're doing something kind of amazing. This is where you come in, so please keep watching and share this to help make someone's Christmas from non-existent to magical. India launched an online anonymous Santa's workshop called Trans Santa on Instagram. You can read kids' letters to Santa and help fulfill wish lists. A lot of these are basic necessities like food and clothes. So let's make this a Venmo challenge. Any amount sent to my Venmo at Shane Explains from now until the end of the year will be used to help fulfill wish lists for Trans Santa. 2020 has sucked, so let's make the end of it a good one. Happy holidays!
If you read the My Hero manga, please listen for a second. Please, if you're going to share what happens in new chapters on social media, put a spoiler warning. I'm begging you, please. Not everybody can or wants to read the manga, but we still want to enjoy the series, and I'm tired of things being spoiled, and I'm not the only one, I know that, so please just put like a 1 or 2 second spoiler warning before you talk about your thing. It's not that hard, I promise.
This is why some people are afraid of the Tooth Fairy. Now, most people know the Tooth Fairy as this sweet, fun-loving little fairy that will take your tooth and give you money in exchange. But there are some legends from Europe that go much darker than this. And these tales often involve witches who disguise themselves as the Tooth Fairy. Some kids are actually afraid when they lose their tooth, so they throw it out as soon as possible so a witch cannot find them. Because it's believed in some places that if a witch finds your tooth, she will be able to gain complete control over that person. So if she has that part of you, she will ruin your life. There's one English legend that tells of a witch named Jenny Greenteeth. She was a witch that was said to hide in scum-filled ponds to catch unsuspecting children. Now, parents would usually use this Jenny Greenteeth to frighten their children into obedience. And the pond scum in which the witch hides is said to resemble green teeth. So this story is used to encourage children to brush their teeth so they don't get gross teeth like the witch.
I want to talk about this. First of all, excuse my hair, I'm doing a twist out, but I wanted to address something that's been happening on this app a lot. Loads of the beautiful dark-skinned women that have been in hype on this app have been called out for having Eurocentric features. First of all, no such thing as African people having Eurocentric features. We created all the features. Shut up with that. What they do is they benefit from featureism. Yes, that is a thing, such as colorism. They have small noses, big lips, slanted eyes, which I also adhere to quite a bit, not trying to call myself peng or anything, but dark-skinned women have to adhere to these featurist ideals to be counted as beautiful. The reason why all these dark-skinned women that are hyped up look the same is because they have these features. And we need to address that. Dark-skinned women with big noses, small lips, unslanted eyes do not get the same hype. And it's due to featureism. Address it, such as the same way you address colorism.
I'm sure many people have heard the argument or even used the argument that the reason why communism can never work is because humans are greedy, and greed is a part of human nature. And I'm just here to explain why that's just some bullshit. Let's tackle a really big part of this, human nature. Now, the issue with saying that human nature is greedy is basically saying all humans are greedy, which we can just prove is not true. But then that's also presupposing a lot of things about human natures that philosophers, scientists, and sociologists have just not agreed upon. And that is that it is innate and static, and that is entirely biological. We know that is not true because in earlier societies, greed was not observed. The idea of greed was not observed until class became introduced into human society. And we know that class necessitates hierarchy, that there is a top class with the most amount of wealth and a bottom class with the least amount of wealth. And because of this class divide of wealth, that would necessitate greed for that wealth. We already have a system which prospers on this fact. That's capitalism. But maybe if we move past capitalism, we will move past greed.
Things I would like to tell to every teenage girl. 1, the world is trying to kill you. It is trying to do this by stealing your voice. Kill it back. 2, you are the best thing in every room. You will notice I did not say the prettiest. You are also the prettiest thing in every room, but that shit doesn't matter. That shit is the world trying to kill you. 3, you will never completely kill the idea that your body is the most important thing about you. That shit is everywhere. And if you're alive and hearing me say these words right now, then you've already heard it too many times. That said, 4, the best hairstyle is one that helps you get out of bed in the morning. The best brand of makeup is one that sharpens a knife for you. The best brand of denim is one that fits.
Hi everyone, if you don't want to watch any further, I just want to remind you that self-diagnosis is completely valid. I have been seeing a lot of discourse on social media recently saying that it isn't, when it absolutely is valid. We do have to remember that healthcare isn't accessible for everyone, and it is very hard to get a diagnosis. It can take years. So some things I recommend, if you do think you are autistic, do your research. There are a lot of other things that can overlap, such as BPD, ADHD, anxiety. Speak to other autistic people. They can always give you advice and help. I'm always here to give you advice and help. And check out autistic organisations. Here are a list of the good ones that I know of, at least. But just remember to be kind. Healthcare isn't accessible for everyone, and your self-diagnosis is absolutely valid. Thank you.